All right. Oh,
Yeah, so actually? Are we talking about like what we like about the thing or
I think
what
a,
we hope for?
I think a bit of both, bit of column A, bit of column B. All right, what do we think about the patch notes? Um, what do we kind of expect moving forward? What is our wish list?
Mm-hmm. Go stream so I can, or like on Discord so I can see what you're looking at.
Yeah, one moment. Like that. Bang. All right, cool.
Yeah, let's see. Yeah, perfect. So we can go top to bottom and then we can go to the main topic, which is why this post is actually very good.
I think that that checks out. All right. So we have Eclipses first, and they basically completely changed our mastery. We're now our nature spells do increase damage to targets affected by Sunfire, and arcane spells deal increased damage to targets affected by Moonfire.
So on this, I think nobody expected this change. Even though not expected does not mean that it's bad.
This is
I think
not, yeah.
I think this I think this has potential. Now, a lot of people might not see it, but this is a bit of a nerf to low keys or something, like low keys where stuff dies fast, like
Okay.
world content and stuff. Because I do not think you will be able to press Moonfire in like low keys still.
I think
You will just
that
bang the Sunfire and leave it there.
the biggest downside with this, just in general, is like fights where you would previously just dump all of your astral power into like primary targets. So like
Even like burst stat fights.
yeah, Painsmith balls and Council of Blood Attendants. I was talking to Chad about this earlier. It's like Painsmith balls and Council of Blood Attendants are a couple of examples that they gave, and it's like obviously this is something that happens a few times in expansion, right? But it's still a situation where it would feel awkward because like I guess you just FF because you're not going to give up your mastery. I suspect that the mastery coefficient is probably going to still be pretty good on even on single target. So you're not going to FF your mastery. You're just going to have to ... triple star surge and then be sad that the target died after your triple star surge, right?
You might do like a Sunfire and cleave onto boss if you're thinking about Painsmith balls, for example. Where
Okay.
like just a redot of the ball onto the boss. The Sunfire gets applied to both of them, and then you continue from there. You might FF on the Moonfire depending on how much mastery you're on, but that's just...
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's like stat coefficient stuff. I mean, Moonkin's always been mastery heavy, so it's tough because it's like stat coefficient related. I suspect that this actually may end up making us be more haste focused on AoE. I could actually see that pretty reasonably changing to where we were more haste focused on AoE now.
Yeah, I think so as well. Especially that IQDs, God bless, no longer a thing.
Again, well, it changes our cooldown, right? So I mean, one of the major reasons that we were so like mastery focus is because like celestial alignment giving you both eclipses, and then that being so mastery heavy, it forced us basically into always stacking mastery. Whereas now we're probably going to be able to have a little bit more balanced damage, assuming that this coefficient isn't something that's just insane. The Moonkin coefficient for mastery has always been pretty high, though.
Yeah, the weird part about this change is, in my opinion, only the fact that they are pushing this build your income thing on the other talent trees. So I'm really wondering if they're gonna do that with us as well.
They got rid of that for Feral, didn't they?
They did? I don't know.
So.
I did not look at Feral. So if they did that, then hopefully they are not going to do that with us, because that is obviously not good with a cooldown that is 10% haste. That's it.
Yeah, hold on. Talents. I think they got... I want to say they changed the build your berserk garbage out of here. Berserk, never mind. That's fake. They still have it.
Yeah, they still have it, which is interesting to say the least.
Yeah, I mean, I think it could be okay. I don't know.
To see what they're doing with it.
Yeah, the Ferals are not exactly thrilled with it.
I mean, it's a good idea, but you have to have power into it. It just
Yeah,
depends on how good the power is with it.
sure. I don't disagree. Oh, hold on, give me 1 second. Let me turn you down there, and then let me turn you up here. Wait, can you
Yeah, I
speak?
changed my microphone from yesterday
All right, we should be good.
to today.
Okay. Okay, so yeah, I mean that's the change of the mastery. I think that overall anything that's promoting us dotting more frequently is going to be pretty positive just as a general rule. Our dots this expansion were so fucking bad.
Yeah, I agree.
And then it also okay, so I guess a big thing that we didn't necessarily talk about is like your astral damage is both spell schools, and so Star Surge, Starfall, Stellar Flare, Fury Balloon also astral damage. So you're being able to double dip on that.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think that
it's like
this is
basically
fine.
it's like having permanent CA.
Yeah, this I think that overall this is totally fine. It's pretty good on AOE. It'll probably be pretty good in Mythic Plus as well.
In hike is really good. In lower, I think it's gonna be a bit worse.
Are you lagging?
I might have been.
Okay.
Might be, yeah. Wonder why.
All right. Eclipses. This is actually a big change. So eclipses now no longer occur in alteration. Same kind of thing. Lunar eclipse now increases your damage to your arcane spells. Solar eclipse increases the damage of your nature spells. And so the notes is like we found two common themes. One is there's a lack of control in the rotation that can feel bad on both single target and AoE. And two, having to cast 2 empowered Wraths or Starfires to enter an eclipse combined with their weaker base power and Starfire's long cast time is underwhelming. With these changes, our goal is to allow you to exit an eclipse, say solar, then re-enter solar eclipse by casting 2 Starfires again. We're also looking at adding talents to improve the feeling of casting unempowered Wraths and Starfires between eclipses. I don't know how to feel about this one. This is the only change that I sat there and I read of it and I was like, I don't really know how to feel about this. I'm surprised that they changed eclipses as a whole. I have read a lot of sentiments where number 1 is the case, but I feel like I've never entered a situation where the lack of control from not being in the right eclipse actually resulted in anything. Maybe like Sired and Athreus not being in the right eclipse going into like the ad killings was annoying, but it never really felt like the lack of control really resulted in any meaningful damage difference, even when we were playing Soul of the Forest, right?
Well, I think it's especially an M plus thing. I think in raid it does not really matter other than when there are like burst AoE moments and you fucked up your rotation or something. It is easier for a newer player to play it than for like a more advanced player.
Yeah.
Like because on Denatrius, for example, you were lining up your lunar eclipses with the ads in P1.
Okay.
That was pretty hard to do and stuff like that.
So another result of what this is going to change is like this is going to make you sit in solar eclipse for effectively permanent on single target situations. So most of raid you're just going to sit in solar eclipse, and then in Mythic Plus you're going to sit in lunar eclipse for basically all of the AoE situations except for whenever you're on bosses. Do you think that this is going to end up like this is a, and I've said this a couple times, I need to play this to know how I really feel about it. Like this is something that I can't necessarily just read and understand exactly how it's going to feel to play. I do worry that this may be an issue in regards to like feel though. If you just sit one eclipse perma.
I do not think that is the case because in raid we are doing that already because of how you're playing your pulsar windows with the tier set.
Okay.
Because normally you go 80% of the time in solar eclipse. Like if you look at random as sim right now, it has like 80% uptime on solar because of how pulsar works and how you cycle through it.
Yeah, sure.
You go solar into lunar proc pulsar instantly and you basically never press starfires. I am not really sure how that is in M+, but I'm assuming it's just gonna feel better that you can press starfire more.
I mean, you're going to be pressing Starfire just less in general. after some of these changes that we're about to read, Starfire is going to get pressed. If I could go a lunar eclipse and only press Starfire like 3 times total, I'm vibing.
Yeah. With the thing that they said with making talents for unempowered rats or starfires, I wonder if that is gonna make us do more damage in unempowered versions compared to empowered versions.
All right, I have a tinfoil hat theory. This is going to be a talent.
That could very well be a thing. Even though whenever I played with it in Torghast, it was pretty weird to play with. Because if you fucked it up just a little bit, then you would go in the wrong Eclipse.
That is true. You would go in the wrong eclipse. I feel like that may end up replacing this talent. Actually, that's probably not true. I don't know what this talent's going to change to.
That will change it to something else for sure.
I mean, they basically said that it will, right?
Yeah, they said it.
Eclipse is no longer reduced cast time, which I mean I guess they already do that by default. I don't know. Maybe it's all gonna get baked into this. Maybe all the cast time reduction would get baked into this, but it seems a bit weird. Okay, so I think that overall this is the only thing that I'm even questionable about, and it's something that I need to play with before I'm able to accurately assess how it necessarily feels. Are you positive on that? I feel like at minimum this is gonna be neutral.
I am like 65% positive on this.
Okay.
Like, yeah, again, I have to play with it as well to see how it feels, but I'm assuming it is going to feel akin to the current version.
Yeah.
With like Pulsar and 2-piece, because you just, you just cycle through Solar so much.
Yeah, I think it's fine. I do worry that's a bit bland, maybe, but especially since like Eclipses are supposed to be based around alternating.
Yeah, that's gonna. We'll have to see about that. I'm not sure.
Yeah, it is what it is. Okay, the really good shit, the S tier shit. Starfall got changed. Calls down waves of stars at the very, very important targeted area, dealing astral damage over 8 seconds. This is kind of weird. I'm not gonna lie. I'm kind of surprised that they changed this. With the note saying we gave a cooldown version of Starfall a chance again for Shadowlands, and don't feel like it's played out well as we had hoped. Having Starfall that moves with you is awesome and something we had hoped to keep, but for gameplay, we feel it's better to choose to spend additional astral power for more Starfalls. Basically, what this sentence is saying is you have to pick one or the other. You're either picking the massive radius thing that follows you around, or you're picking the ability to be able to cast multiple Starfalls. I think that overall, though, it is definitely more healthy to be able to cast more Starfalls, especially since it is our primary spender on AoE.
Yeah, so of course you being able to cast multiple Starfalls at the same time is very good. But the other part about this, and it being that some people said that it should follow your character and be stackable. And I've talked to a lot of people about this, even on like higher ends, like top like 10, top whatever.
Yeah.
Top 50. And I've talked to casuals as well. Like 50-50. Some people say that it should stay with you and be stackable.
Yes.
And some people say that it should not follow you and be stackable.
Well, normally the reason for it shouldn't follow you is balancing reasons, right?
Yeah, exactly. So I am also of the opinion that it should be targeted on the ground, because it is very, very, very hard to balance something around being a whole room wide AoE that moves with you.
Yeah.
That is very also a bit skillless, let's say, compared to like a targeted.
Skillless. Okay.
Well, yeah, well, it takes more skill to know where the pack will go in M+, for example, where the tank will kite it. It takes a bit of coordination. You have to know where your like blood decay is gonna pull your pack and then leave it on the ground there, as opposed to like always moving around, around you, and you're not having to think about that.
So just to play devil's advocate a little bit, though, so is this not just turning this into Rain of Fire and Earthquake? So I mean, I think one of the big things with our class fantasy is having this massive starfall that follows us around. Sure, we got rid of it for a little bit, but I do think that's one of the major points of our class fantasy. And does it not just kind of turn us into a destruction warlock with Rain of Fire and an elemental shaman with earthquakes? And I don't know.
It
That
depends
doesn't
how
feel
big
skillful.
the radius is.
Like let's be real. That also doesn't feel skillful.
Well, no, of course it doesn't, but it's like a bit of another layer to think about it.
Okay.
It's more like depends how big the radius is. It's also the
Sure.
balancing part that you cannot really balance something that is like room wide compared to a rain of fire. Like it has got to have less damage, and if it has less damage, it has to have like way less damage.
Well,
Because there is gonna be a council fight that is like 3 targets spread around the room, and Starfall can hit all of them, and Rain of Fire cannot. Does it have to be 3 times as weak then to have that class balanced around? Or...
I don't know if you know this, but the last time we had targeted Starfall, we could hit like full council. We hit Fellhounds of Sargeras with targeted Starfall.
Yeah, again, it like depends how big the thing is.
For those who don't know, Fellhounds of Sargeras is like akin to Eye of the Jailer intermission ads. Whenever you would have them separated across the room,
okay,
you'd be able to Starfall hit both of them.
Yeah, but the hitbox on those was like way too big, right?
The Jailer, the Antorus Hounds.
Yeah, didn't they have their hitbox of like half the room?
They did have a large hitbox. Someone say.
Yeah.
But okay,
it was more like on the council fight that year, the like Shivara council. You couldn't hit
Coven.
3 if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
Could you hit 3? I'm pretty sure you could only hit 2.
You did everything on Savara. They only had to be 20 yards separated. Ignite could spread. You sure as fuck could Starfall those.
Maybe I remember it.
It was only 20 yards.
I'm remembering wrong.
You could literally have Ignite spreading off of the main boss. You could Lance cleave off of the boss and hit the other head.
Maybe I'm a bit.
So I don't know. My thoughts are like, I don't think it would. I'm of the opinion that it should actually stay with our character, but I do understand the reasoning that they're giving for why they're very worried about it becoming a balancing issue. I just think in general the game doesn't have enough spread AoE abilities as is, and so like Shadow Priest and AF like should be able to do more damage on spread targets. And Moonkin should also be one of the spread target damage classes, as we've always been, and I think it would just make sense that we also have the Starfall that moves with us. It's also just super sick for class fantasy. It feels a lot better to have the one that follows us than the one that's targeted on the ground, but at the same point, I do understand the reasoning. I think the reasoning makes sense. It's something that I'm okay with. If I had it my way, I'd have it follow us, though.
Well, if it's like very big, like it was in Antoros and stuff, does it like matter if it's following us or if it's just like very big room?
Well, it was only big because of old Stellar Drift, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Because old Stellar Drift, for those who don't know, increased the radius of the targeted Starfall by 30%.
Yeah, again, depends what happens with Stellar Drift and our talents later.
Yeah.
Let's see, like next week. I'm assuming it's next week.
Yeah. I mean, overall, this is what had to happen. Like Starfall needed to change. We needed the ability to be able to stack Starfall. That had to happen. Otherwise, our AoE was going to be unplayable again, another time.
Again, maybe they're gonna do like BFA and we play some 8 targets. Hopefully not.
Shit. No, please save me from whatever hellscape that was.
Yeah.
Okay, so they also said that they removed improved Star Surge. Basically, that's one of the talents right here. I got disconnected. All right, whatever. That's one of the talents, and that improved Star Surge talent was like the empowerment on the Eclipse bonus. I'm not sure if I've ever cared less for an interaction than my Star Surge empowers my Wrath or gives me additional crit on Starfire. I'm not sure if I've ever felt like an interaction mattered less. I do hate where this is located, though.
Yeah, so it might have been like a base spec change that they had to announce here, I'm assuming, and this just falls into basically the talent rework that they did not announce yet. So they will change that into something else, I'm assuming.
I mean, whenever they say this is being removed, this also kind of implies that decent number of our talent stuff is also going to be changing. Most likely, Stellar
Yeah.
Drift is going to be changing. I suspect like node placement is also going to be changing just because of how they are looking to edit like shooting stars and how it functions, and just our AoE versus single target stuff. Because as it currently stands, you have to like path in a really weird way to get AoE and single target, and it kind of keeps a few nodes in particular like super dead. Like it is so hard to path to these. It is so hard to path to these. It's really easy to path to these though, because of what you have to do with the talent tree. Because this and due to it's just kind of due to the dotting changes that they did earlier. The twin moon stuff now feels a little bit more mandatory on AoE, because you have to you're basically forced to moonfire packs now, and so twin moons you have to be able to get to them somehow, and so putting points into here feels a bit more required. And so I worry that I don't know. I do worry that like our nodes are going to get a bit fucked, but at the same point, I think that it's a overall a pretty like a lot better situation, and the improved Star Search thing does kind of imply that more changes are coming.
Yeah, I feel like the node, if they will keep this layout, which I do not think they will 1-to-1, the node above Twin Moons and Stellar Flare has to be easy to get and be kind of good.
Dude, are you
Or
okay
like,
with them just removing these two nodes?
yeah, I'm very okay with them removing those two nodes. I am very okay with that.
These two could get axed. This could probably get
Yeah.
axed, right? This could also
I feel
go.
like Star-Lord being on its way to Pulsar is also very weird.
Yeah,
Because
exactly. I mean,
for you to pick Pulsar, you have to pick Star-Lord, which is a bit strange to play with.
so like this node could get completely reworked. This node
Yeah.
could get completely probably removed,
Removed,
but
yes.
reworked is what I would say. These can go. Both of these can go.
Yeah, those.
This can get moved.
Yeah, that should get moved to like a
We-
capstone node. and
We
make it
know
powerful.
this is gone. This can
Yeah.
get moved.
Yeah.
And we know that this will likely see
Blessings.
we know that this will likely see some change.
Blessings in their first iteration as well, with like the bigger solar eclipse and stuff.
Yeah, I think the blessings could also get a rework and probably be fine. So I think that like all of these things are going to get changed / moved in some capacity. Like the question marks are probably candidates for moving or reworks, and then the big circled ones are like they need to be
Get them out.
changed. They gotta go. Like this node at the bottom beneath Incarn and Convoke, this thing has to be IFE. Yeah. Also,
Yeah, I agree.
I'm gonna keep it a stack. Why the fuck are we picking a choice node between Incarn and Convoke? Why is that a choice node?
I think
This
okay,
is
I think
this
there
is so
was
bad.
So my tinfoil, not tinfoil, but probably what happened was our last class developer went ahead and made the Resto tree first, and then they said, yeah, people like either Incarnation or Convoke. I cannot put them together because they would be a bit too strong. Now they went ahead and moved them onto a choice node at the bottom, and then they were like, yeah, let's make them like really powerful nodes with and add like another point
Yeah.
down below it.
So how I
And then
view
they were like, yeah, Incarn is for all classes, right? So let's just put
Yeah.
that for all of them.
I mean, I think that Incarn and IFE should be here, right? Like this makes sense.
Yeah, exactly.
This can be this node right here can be Moon, and then this one can be like Giga Moon.
Improved Moon.
Improved Moon, yeah, Improved Moon.
Yeah, Radiant Moonlight.
And then we go over here, and then this
Fury.
could be
Fury Villain.
I think it could be like Convoke.
Yeah, sure.
And then something Convoke related, right?
Convoke, Improve Convoke, 1 minute Convoke with the spells kept or something.
Yeah, Convoke and then our Unity. I could see that.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think I worry that Convoke is going to feel like total ass without Naya Mastery now.
Yeah, it will. It has to get buffed. If they keep Convoke like that, then it's GG. You're never picking that.
I mean, so this is Convoke, and then I mean, it would be something here. But like our
It
penultimate,
has to
I don't
be
know.
either more moons proc, like 3 moons proc, and they do a lot of damage, or it has to be Nia Mastery that gets added onto Convoke.
And then I mean this could get moved to here.
Yeah. Oh, also something about Convoke is that you don't need to proc it in a pulsar anymore
Oh, okay. So
because
here
of the mastery.
I figured it out. This can get moved to here. This can be old Stellar Inspiration, right?
Which is the oldest one.
It's the dot one. You do more damage. Your dots do more damage whenever you have a Starfall active, or whenever they're in the radius of
Right.
Starfall.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
so that could get this Umbral Infusion can get moved to here, and this can be old Stellar Inspiration.
Yeah.
Improved
That
Convoke.
would work.
I mean, this could be Convoke and then Convoke again. I don't really care.
Yeah. The like improved Convoke.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, our capstone should be the improved version of the penultimate traits because we have 5 fucking capstones.
Yeah.
And then I'm actually okay with the placement of both of these.
I like those.
I actually think that both of those are fine. I really want to be able to play Oneths. Like I really want to be able to play it. I wouldn't even mind if Oneths was moved in the middle, because then that makes pathing towards it a little bit easier. But at the same point, I think that Incarnation should probably be in the middle with IFE at the bottom, because it's like more class fantasy based.
I like the best node that we have, in my opinion, is the Onets / Dreambinder node. Like that one makes your class so much better.
I don't know. For me, this block here is my favorite. This
Okay, with the dot changes, I kind of agree.
The Syzygy Pulsar, Orbit Breaker, Solstice, Shooting Stars section, I'm a big fan on this.
Orbit Breaker just got like big stonks.
Oh,
like
okay. And why is Orbit Breaker big stonks, you might ask? Because Shooting Stars now has an increased chance to occur, and Stellar Flare now has a chance to to proc Shooting Stars. With the caveat of we don't have plans to increase dot damage. I don't know why, but
fine.
Whatever. We feel like we went too far into tuning down Shooting Stars. You did. And we're looking for how to allow it to trigger more, so Astral Power generation from dots is more noticeable in AoE. Stellar Flare's lack of gameplay hooks has also made an underwhelming talent choice, so we're allowing it to trigger Shooting Stars. I don't care about that last part, but this whole Shooting Stars proc rate thing is very, very important. And our AoE rotation just in general should be more focused on Starfall, more focused on dots, and that's what the Shooting Stars thing alleviates. It forces you to dot on AoE. In addition to that, our mastery forces you to dot on AoE more regularly. And I hope that they're probably still gonna have a DR, but if they start the DR at 5 targets, it is actually the most fake shit for Moonkin. It only really starts to matter at like the 15 to 20 target range. Is where we actually start to hit like real limits on our Shooting Stars DR. And so if they move it to 5 targets as opposed to 1, we're actually chilling.
I mean, it does not really say that the square root scaling is going to get changed. It says increased chance to occur, which means also single target, I assume.
I don't know, dude. Yeah.
Which might be something we'll have to see. Yeah.
It's implied that there's still a DR of some sort, or it actually could go a bunch of different ways. It's implying that they don't know exactly what they're going to do. This needs to be more aggressive than passive, in my opinion. This is a situation where you can go and be like, yeah, fuck it. Let's just buff it all the way back up.
I agree.
I mean, it's generating 3 astral power now. I don't know. I do worry that we're not going to be generating enough astral power. By the way.
Yeah, I mean the 2-piece was. I think we really should bring out the 2-piece again instead of the 4-piece.
Well, okay, this is a good point.
I mean, yeah.
A lot of the issues are just like resulting. I don't know who's responsible for this change, but it was bad. Whenever they changed our Wrath to only give 6 astral power and our Starfire to only give 8, as opposed to what it was in Legion, where it was like 8 and 12 or some shit.
Oh yeah.
And then they obviously they reduced the astral power cost on Star Surge. That was fine for single target. And then it's been
not for AoE.
Turbo annoying for AoE just in general, because like it's just hard to gen enough astral power, and then they cut Shooting Star's AP gen from 4 to 3, or they cut it from 4 to 2, didn't they?
Yes, from 4 to 2.
And now they buffed it back up to 3, but like this is fine. I would rather this be more astral power gen and less damage on Shooting Stars. This is like a knob that they can tune. I'd rather be less damage and more AP gen.
Yeah, I think they also. Yeah, I mean they also buffed the damage a lot because of the mastery change, right? So they just straight up buffed
Oh
the damage
shit,
as well.
this is actually astral damage, isn't this?
With the proc increase, and they put it on Stellar Flare, so this is gonna chunk a bit in single target as well.
Yeah, that's a good point. Okay. In addition to that, like I guess we can talk about the Stellar Flare thing. I think that Stellar Flare, this is something that needed to happen with Stellar Flare. I know it gives 8 astral power. I know it's supposed to be like a pretty good button relative to Pressing Wrath. I fucking hate playing Stellar Flare. Like it feels so bad.
Like
I don't know, man. It's one of these situations where I think that if they removed the cast time on it, it would probably feel a little bit better. Even if they drop the 8 astral power gen to something else. Because the situations that I want to play Flare in is not on AoE. Like, I want to be playing Flare on Patrick single target. I don't really want to be playing it in multi-dot situation council style fights, but I will if you make me play it on like 2 or 3 targets.
Is fine with it.
Yeah.
3 target is way too much, I think.
Yeah, 3 target is where you start getting into way too dank territory.
Yeah, even 2 target right now, it's very, very hard to play with it.
I don't know. It just feels so hard to play, and I think removing the cast time on it would probably make it feel a little bit better, even if you were forced to cut it down to like 3 astral power gen.
Well, right now it's also that what do you sack for it? Right now you sack Stellar Drift, which is BM Hunter movement, for a casted dot that gives you 8 AP, which is kind of the same as Wrath. So like, you would have to cast 1 more Wrath, and then you have to uptime this Flare. You have to think about 1 more dot on, let's say, 2 targets. On 2 targets is like absolutely crazy to play with it.
I don't think anybody's really ever had an issue with Flare on single target, though, right? Like, Flare on single target has historically been pretty fine.
I think some people still don't like it because it does not have any oomph to it. It's just like a 0.1% better than
it feels like shit. It feels like shit to play. That's how it's always kind of been, though. It is always felt like total ass.
I am very neutral about Stellar Flare, but the point is so many people hate it, and I being as the biggest, like, this is kind of fine kind of person, then that means that it has to get changed.
Dude, I think my FPS and OBS is dying.
It's on Discord as well.
Alright, well, I'm gonna turn off Discord streaming. Maybe that'll fix it.
Yeah, sure. Turn it off.
Because, like, it's fine in game.
It's fine on stream right now. Or is it? Kind of. When you don't alt tab.
Oh, maybe it's something to do with... I don't know. There's some weird shit with the beta right now and, like, alt tabbing. And I think it's killing my OBS.
Yeah, that's fine. No, it's working right now. But yeah, about the other thing as well, which is the most important thing about all these changes, is that we, as the balanced druid, whatever theory crafting, whatever smart people community, made a post a while back, like around 1 or 2 months ago. But at that point, it's like 1.5 months ago. Yeah, exactly. Here I have it. This one. Go open this. We made this a while ago. You posted this on the Alpha forums, and we basically complained about the bad stuff about it. About like what our spec does and what it should get changed into, and what is like, what is bad with it. And basically from this post, the developer basically took everything and then corrected all of it. He went from top to bottom and corrected every single complaint.
Oh, they fixed the, like, red flag shit. Like, they fixed the, oh my god, my spec is fucking unplayable without these changes stuff.
Yeah, but even the, like, smaller changes that I do not really, not even, like, agree with. For example, the Eclipse changes. That, like, 5% of the community complained about. They changed those as well, which means that they are open to listening.
Yeah,
which is very good.
I think that we have hit a spot where I'm pretty happy with this. Like, these changes are fairly promising for me.
I think if we were to get the talent trees next week, and we were to basically, if the correct people complained about it, I am pretty sure that would get changed into something better. Which is,
well, you have to be careful about how you give feedback, right?
yeah, exactly. It's like hard to give good feedback. If we gave proper feedback akin to the last one, I'm pretty sure they would change it that way. I really do not agree with what some people are typing on the forums, for example, but that's just forum things.
So what? Such as what?
Such
I don't like
as
this change. I like having Starfall follow me around.
Tattles gets what he wants. Now all the other druids are crying. Such as that one.
I don't. I had this link to me. I'm gonna be honest. I don't know why I'm the one who's being targeted here.
I think you just posted a thing, and that's what people think you want, and not what other people want. I don't know, man.
I just wonder, like, obviously I have a fairly loud voice in the balance community. I just wonder, like, what this person wants.
Yeah, I don't know.
Like, well, what was the issue that he thought that did not get addressed? That he's like, these are my S tier issues for Moonkin. These did not get addressed. Because, like, I wonder like what his major problems were that, like, didn't get changed. Because for almost everybody, it was like, dude, our AoE feels like ass to play. Almost everybody is like, our AoE atrocious. Our single target, it's kind of fine. Our AoE is really bad. That was most people's feedback. Like, we even ran polls and shit, right?
Yeah, we did in, like, dreamgrove and stuff.
We were just trying to make sure that, like, we weren't super off base with the feedback that we were giving.
Yeah, I think it was just the Starfall change that it is on targeted.
Well, I mean, he's stoked about stacking Starfall. I just wonder what he's upset about.
Yeah, what else are you complaining about? I don't know. Stellar, like, shooting stars got changed.
I didn't even agree with I didn't even agree with the Eclipse changes. I'm gonna keep it a stack. Like, I didn't even think that Eclipse needed to be changed. And
also with the Eclipse changes, people are complaining that they gutted the cast time reduction on Eclipses. That change was because of some people do. Some people think it's bad, but actually it's good because you would run into issues with too much haste and then rattled with GCD kept.
Well, that's only if I'm getting power infusion, and I don't get power infusion.
Well, even in Bloodlust, you just frenzy and your GCD kept in 1 second.
Yeah.
Even with, like, just a bit high haste. Imagine you had 1.2k haste now instead of mastery. You had 900 mastery. You would get GCD kept in Bloodlust.
Funnily enough, he said he's, like, blaming me, but, like, I didn't even agree with Eclipse changes. I feel like the old Eclipse system was fine, but I saw a decent amount of community sentiment that was like, Eclipse should be changed, and I was like, all right, fuck it, whatever.
I mean, yeah, well, he doesn't know about that. Yeah, I think that's
clearly that's not an issue. What are some of the other people saying? I think that talking about Starfall change, not move with the player seems completely unnecessary. Definitely change that back. I think that's. I agree, but I think that here's the thing. I believe that it would feel better and it would be more fun and more in line with Moonkin if it stayed with us. At the same point, though, I do follow their reasoning where it's like we feel like this is too unhealthy for the game. I think that they were a bit worried over a situation that doesn't happen all too often, where Moonkin is like, oh god, good at spread cleave. This is crazy. But at the same point, Moonkin doesn't have burst AoE. Like, this is not a thing that Moonkin has, and Moonkin sure as hell doesn't have burst AoE now with the mastery change. In addition to that, like, we had the ramp for a while, and so, like, we don't do stacked cleave either. Whereas there are classes like Hunter or whatever that or Warrior or Demon Hunter that press 2 buttons and do all of their AoE and it's stacked cleave. I don't know. I think that they are a bit worried over something that is, I would also agree, completely unnecessary, in a situation that does not happen too often. But I think that I respect their opinion enough to allow them to see it through.
I think they just overcorrected on the Eternal Palace spread cleave stuff.
I think they're just worried about a situation that doesn't happen.
Yeah.
Because like even in the most recent, even Sepulcher, where exactly are you blasting off a spread cleave? Ragalon and Anduin, and even then, we're not necessarily even the best classes on either of those two fights.
Yeah, I mean, Anduin isn't really spread cleave. It's, well, yeah, no, it's
Neither
not
is
really spread cleave,
Ragalon. Like let's be real.
Yeah.
Ragalon isn't exactly spread cleave either. You just need some damage on those ads.
Yeah, you need.
I guess Council of Blood. They're
Council of Blood.
They may be salty over Council of Blood, but
I don't know, man.
Even still, like
KT has a bunch of spread cleave as well, but that's like so irrelevant. It's crazy.
But you like, I think that you're following what I'm putting down. Like,
yeah, I am.
There should just be other classes that also do damage to spread cleave in the way that like, Starfall works.
What you said before with F Shadow Priest, I think.
Just make F and Shadow do more damage on spread cleave. Like that is my solution. Just make those people actually do damage on spread cleave. I don't need.
Yeah,
I don't think that Moonkin should be the only class that does damage on spread cleave. That is an issue. I agree with that being a problem.
Same with like you like take away spread cleave from Moonkin, from Shadow Priest, and from F-Lock, and then you just keep execute and keep raid AoEs and keep all that shit.